It's wonderful to be here in the sanctuary with everybody on a Wednesday midweek so that we can all get our sort of pick up on a Wednesday. When I just walk in here and see all these beautiful smiley faces, I'm already feeling great. And they're representing all of you. So welcome all of you, and especially those who are here for the very first time. We're glad you found us, and if you've benefited in any way from what you experience here with us for this time, then perhaps you'll visit us again. We would love that, and maybe tell a friend. So we're going to begin the way we always begin on any opening or closing, is prayerfully. And prayerfully to me just means consciously, very consciously, and very much focused on a precious opportunity in any given moment to be more than we usually are in all of the busyment of our embodiment. So join me, please, now in just taking a conscious, connected breath, because it's all about the breath. So let's breathe in deeply, hold for a moment, and breathe out. And let's do that 3 times. So as I center myself in the awareness of something greater than myself, the power, the presence, the infinite intelligent beingness of life that lives me is all around me, about me, above me, and below me, I open myself up to knowing that in my life I have every opportunity to flourish and thrive regardless of appearances. For my life is a consciousness. It's the breath of me. It's the consciousness of me. And what I entertain in mind and consciousness is what I experience in my life. So as I am within, so my life reflects without. So this is what I'm knowing right here and right now, that I am open and receptive to being all that I'm here to be being all that I am created to be that center point of light and life and love on this plane, which is what I signed up for when I came in, and to hold my center, no matter what the appearances are out there around me and about me. But to know that there is something greater happening in the midst of it all. So I open myself now and I say, I'm ready. I'm ready for the more. I'm ready for the advance. I'm ready for the unfoldment of a sense of myself as a centered, poised emanation of the One as I proceed through life on planet Earth today, regardless of how challenging it is. And I know for me that all needs be is that I hold my trust and my faith in my source, in the reality of my being, in that sense of knowing that I am created for good and only good, to be good and only good, which is to live a life of integrity and harmony and peace and unity no matter what. And although it may seem rather impossible at times, nevertheless, it is why I am here and what I knew I could be when I came in. And I don't do it alone. It is the power and the presence of the One who created me, sustains me, maintains me, and who is the lover of my soul that makes sure that I unfold and accomplish what I'm here to accomplish, and leave this plane a little better than I found it, having been able to present my gift before I return back onto that which sent me. And what I'm knowing for myself, I'm knowing for every single person on this plane, everything that lives in all of creation. I know this for everything and everyone, for it is the truth that sets us free. So always and forever, to the one, be the glory, the expression in and through and by means of me and all of life, as I, in faith and trust and gratitude, say, and so it is. And so it is. And so, my dear ones, as we proceed into our experiences of today, and they are many, and they are challenging, and we would like it to be otherwise, the way for it to be otherwise is for you and me to know something different. We have to know something different. And that is, we have to think differently so that we can allow ourselves to feel differently, so that we can show up differently. And basically, all you and I have to do is to become that poised center and show up as that poised center. That's all. And what does that mean? It means we're keeping our energy, we're keeping the energy that is ours in equilibrium. And when the energy is in equilibrium, it's high. And that's the most healing thing I can bring to myself and to my world. A centered energy, a spiritual poise that cannot be toppled. Can't be toppled. And so I know this looks impossible. But things have always looked impossible in life. And the impossible became possible. Records have been broken. Innovations have been made. Advancements have been made, even though the majority of thinking was it's impossible. Well, everything is possible in the spiritual realm, and you and I belong in the spiritual realm. We are spiritual beings having a human experience, and we forget that the body of me is contained within the soul of me, and that my essence is the biggest part of me, not my body, not my physicality. And so whatever it takes, and I know that that doesn't mean at times you and I are not going to feel the weight of everything at the moment, the weight of our own challenges and the weight of the challenges in the world. We're going to feel those weights upon us. But nevertheless, we can say, in spite of what I'm feeling, I know there is a center core in me that's staying in its integrated, absolute state of being. And I can trust that. Now, this morning, when I awoke very early, I straight away was thinking about this time when we would be together after I had realized I'm back in the world, and after I had been grateful for that, and after I had decided how my day would be, and it's different sometimes. But today it was, well, God woke up in me today, so now I'm going to choose to wake up in God, whatever that is, whatever that looks like, but it has to be good. So this was the book that first came to my hand. And in it, it's a book called New Age Understanding by Donald Curtis, who was a great minister and a wonderful author and an inspiration on this plane. And he's written many books, and each one of them, Donald Curtis, they're very well worthwhile reading. So, but lo and behold, did I not open it at the page, my book 14, with a title that said, Yourself, Yourself. So he says, ask yourself, am I the kind of person I would like if I had a choice when I was coming in? Which is an interesting question because we know we're always at choice. Am I the kind of person I would like to be if I had a choice? I'm going to say, am I the kind of person I would like to be if I had a choice now? And I know the answer is, yes, of course, you have a choice now. So that's for us all to ponder that question. And then he says, would I like to sit down and talk to me? Am I the kind of person I would like to sit down and talk with? Again, another worthy question, is it not? Because when you listen in to people's conversations, it's sad to say that very, very often they're not that uplifting. Quite the opposite. Have you ever walked around a supermarket and hear people screaming and shouting into their Bluetooth or whatever they're screaming and shouting into? I have heard that. I don't think people understand they're in public anymore. I really don't. And I believe that all of us have a right to go into a supermarket or anywhere else and not have to listen to all of that. I just want to do my marketing, get my groceries or whatever, and be on my way. So, am I the kind of person that people would like to sit down and talk with, or stand up and talk with, or talk to me at any time? That's what we're asking ourselves with these questions. Would I like to work with me? Am I the kind of person that I would like to work with? Another great question. And that's for us all to ponder. Would I like to be married to me? Would I like to be married to me? Another good question. And it would take some time, I think, if we're really taking these questions seriously, to answer these questions. So I'm throwing them out for us all today to consider. Then he goes on to say, you may get some shocking answers I know I have when I asked myself these questions. Why do I think that way is another one. Why do I feel that way? Why do I react that way? When I am acting less than my best, I have to remember I am losing power. I am losing power. And every time I lose power over myself, I give something besides myself, a person or a situation, I give to them power over me. So let's learn to live happily by establishing power over ourselves. Take control of ourselves. Live from inner purpose instead of outer pressure. Live from inner purpose instead of outer pressure. Well, I think that this is the best of all times to be in that endeavor, because there's a lot of outside pressure at the moment, have you noticed? And I think that if we were to spend more time in our own company, just tuning in on ourselves and finding out, well, how am I really thinking and feeling right now? What's going on with me that makes me think the way I'm thinking, feel the way I'm feeling, and do what I'm doing, and showing up as I'm showing up? What's going on in me right now? And I mean right now, because it's no use looking back, it's no use looking forward. We have to be able to handle the present moment, and the only way we can do that is to be in our company and ask ourselves, how am I doing now? What's going on in me now? Why am I feeling this way? Why am I thinking this way? What in heaven's name caused me to do this, that, or the other? I really do believe the key is having a relationship with ourselves to begin with. A conscious relationship with ourselves. I really do believe that to be the case. And so, dear hearts, let us put the work into ourselves. Just let us put the work into ourselves to begin with, and give ourselves the support that we need to be the best of ourselves right now. And I believe it'll do a great deal of good, not only for ourselves, but for everyone around us too, and the world in general. And so he also says, when he's speaking to us in these kinds of terms, he says, we give to people our power all the time. We say, my employer has power over my livelihood. The government has power over me. My wife, my husband, my children have power over me. If you give another person your power, you are as guilty as they are, he says. You are helping to sustain a wrong because control of someone is not the basis for any true or real relationship. And I think there's a lot of controlling goes on in life and living, and a great deal of controlling that goes on in relationships. What is it about us that we feel we need to be in control of everything and everyone? It's like a drive within us to control things. And when we're not in control, we feel out of sorts, lost. The only person we have to be in control of is ourselves. Now, we hear that over and over again. But what does it mean? Does it go into us? Is it absorbed by us? Is it assimilated by us? And do we change as a result? Consciousness is all the time on the move. Thoughts are always filling our minds. And there's the first place you and I need to be in control. In our minds, watching the thoughts that are either driving us crazy or keeping us mellow, happy, and at peace. It is something to ponder, my dears. He says the only true basis is love for the other person. That's the most important thing, the seminal thing. Love for something other than myself. Love for others. Love for respect for things is love for things. Love. And we're not talking about sloppy, romantic, rose-colored glasses stuff that we call love. Love is not that. It is an energy, it is a power, it is a force, it is a presence. And it accomplishes every single good thing. That's what love does. Because when we are consciously in love, we are centered. We're at balance, at equilibrium. We're poised. We're confident. We're courageous. And we know that the sweetest thing in life is to make something or someone better by the way we interact with them. That's what love is. It's the givingness of life to itself. And the miracle of it is, or so it would seem, that when you do that, when you show up as that, life shows up as that for you and does the same for you. When are we going to fully understand the law of reciprocity? What I put out there, gets right back to me. Sometime, someplace, somehow. What I'm putting out there will come right back because life's thinking is boomerangish. I put it out, it comes back. I put it out, it comes back. Throw it away, it comes right back at me. So it's the lesson to be learned in a lifetime. As I see it, as I think it, as I perceive it, whatever it is, that's how life is perceiving me. Thinking in terms of me. Feeling in terms of me. So if I'm estranged from myself, don't be surprised if the world is estranged from me too. It's interesting. Watch it. That's what taking control of your mind means. Monitor your mind. And when things go awry in relationships, ask yourself, well, how have I been in these relationships? And then he says, the only true basis is love for the other person, respect, consideration, compassion, and understanding. Respect is the basis. And when I'm respecting something or someone, I'm endeavoring to understand them. And then when I get to understand them, I can see how I could be filled with compassion. These are the characteristics of love: respect, understanding, compassion. And if somebody says they love you and those three things are missing, it's baloney. And if you say that to somebody and these three elements are missing, respect, understanding, compassion, it's baloney. So I think this would be the best of times to try and understand more clearly what love is all about. The givingness of life to itself. The givingness of life to itself. Givingness is the word. It's not the gettingness of anything. It's the givingness of something. And that is what? Respect, understanding, compassion. That's what it is. People will respond and work out of fear, but nothing can compare to what an individual will do if he or she is at peace within him or herself. If we have a sense of our own dominion and our own authority, and are able to work from within. Alas and alack, most of us are moved upon by what's going on without. What everything is out there, what everyone is saying out there, and that influences more than what is going on within us. If it wasn't, our world would not be in the state it is in now. There's only one thing you and I can trust, one thing. It's truth. And if you and I are looking for it out there, it's not going to happen. Because as there are as many people on this planet, there are as many truths, false truths. There is only one truth, and that truth is internal, invisible, but nevertheless very palpable. And you and I are very much able to experience that, but it's not going to happen until we have a relationship with ourselves, until we're in our own company enough, until we withdraw from the clamor and the noise of what's outside of ourselves, and sit with ourselves or walk with ourselves and ponder, what am I thinking now? What am I feeling now? Why am I thinking this? Why am I feeling that? Is there another way I could be thinking? Is there another way I could be feeling? There's always a better way. Even when we are centered and poised, we can do better. By that I mean we can unfold more, we can release more of the truth that sets us free from within ourselves. For that to happen, we have to believe in something greater than ourselves to begin with. And then we have to know something greater than ourselves. And once we know that something greater than ourselves, we're on the winner's track. How am I going to get to know the better within myself if I don't have a relationship with myself? If I don't respect myself, understand myself, have compassion for myself? See, it all begins right here. My whole life's experience begins with me. And how I perceive things, how I think about things, how I interact with things, how I respond to things and persons and places. Who knew? Wouldn't it have been wonderful if from the time we were knee-high to a grasshopper, we were taught this? And children are far more perceptive than any one of us might imagine. They get it because they're energy gobblers. They gobble all the energy around them. They feel all the energy around them, and you cannot fool them. You cannot fool them. If there's dissension in a home, they'll feel it. They'll know it. You cannot hide that. They feel it. That's where they are in their development. The tactile feeling aspect of it. Even before they think, they feel. And so, what is it, dear ones, that we are doing to each other rather than doing for each other? And if we're doing to somebody less than we would like somebody to do unto us, it's because we don't have a relationship with ourselves strong enough to know who we are, so that we can honor ourselves, respect ourselves, and love ourselves, and know ourselves, and understand ourselves, and be all grown up in a spiritual sense. So that then we can indeed honor another, respect another, love another, understand another, have compassion for another. I cannot give what I have not got, and neither can you. And yet, are we not full of expectations? We expect so much of everybody else, do we not? We expect them to be this, that, and the other. We expect her, him to be this, that, or the other, without any great expectancy flowing through ourselves. And an expectancy is different than an expectation. Expectancy is an energy. It's an energy of open receptivity, openness to the good happening in life, an open receptive understanding. My life is what I think it to be, what I feel it to be, what I allow it to be, through the way I'm thinking, through the way I'm feeling, and through the way I'm showing up. So you and I can know where each one of us is at any given time with regard to the relationship we have with ourselves by the way we interact with each other. And maybe that will fill us with compassion when we see somebody who's coming at us with venom or whatever. Say, gosh, they're missing themselves. They're missing themselves, and they're lost, and they don't know what to do. So that is frustrating, and the frustration now is being expressed in this way. Are you missing yourself? It's a rhetorical question, but it's a good question. Ask yourself sometimes, am I missing myself? Am I the one I'm looking for? Am I the one I'm looking for? And when you get that sorted out, when I get that sorted out, the rest is easy to figure out. Oh, we are our own greatest and most enormous challenge. And the work on ourselves is the greatest work that we can be engaged in. Written on the very first stones that have been recorded in time are the words, "Know thyself. Know thyself." And then later on, the great bard himself said, "To thine own self be true." Perfect metaphysical lesson in Shakespeare's words. To thine own self be true, and as night follows day, thou canst be false to any man. Because who you are is what you'll take out into life and living. And if you're in honoring of yourself, in understanding of yourself, in compassion with yourself, respecting yourself, loving yourself, that's exactly what you're going to be doing out in the world for everything and everyone else. Because we can only bring ourselves to the world. No one else. So there's no one to blame. There's no one to shake a fist at. As far as how my life is and what's going on in it. And this world would be such a more wondrous, integrated place if you and I could be at one with ourselves and everybody else too. Or even just 51% of us, that's all it would take. 51% of us being at one with ourselves. 51% is the majority, and the majority is what is always responded to. My dear ones, whatever life is, it is up to you and it's up to me to make it what we would like it to be by working on ourselves. I am not responsible for anyone. I am only responsible for me. And then once I take that responsibility and I learn how to love myself and respect myself and so on, I'm going to automatically do that out there. And it won't be because I'm responsible for anyone or anything. It'll be because it's my nature to be so, to show up as so, and to do so. And yours too. So who knew that at the beginning and at the end of the day, it's all about self-care, self-realization, and self-work. That's all it's about. It ever was and it ever will be. And if I could take care of that and you could take care of that, the world would be taking care of itself. So today's message is loud and clear. Take care of yourself. Love yourself. Honor yourself. Respect yourself. Be at peace with yourself. And why? Because the infinite, in all of its amazing power, radiance, and life, dwells within you, as you, your whole self you, your pristine self you, that is always at the center core of your being in a pristine state, untouched by anything or anyone or yourself. So there we have it. Our job is very, very cut and dry and very clear to us, and it's a challenge. So let's take it on today, and let's take care of ourselves today the best way we know how. Let's be conscious of our thinking. Let's be conscious of our feeling. Let's be conscious of how we're showing up, and ask ourselves the questions. Is this how I wish to think, how I wish to feel, and how I wish to show up? And then respond accordingly along the line of growth and advancement. Because as I do it unto myself, I'm doing it unto the world. And that's the way life works, my dear ones. So now we have that lovely opportunity of thinking about our fullness, our plenty, and rejoicing in it and celebrating it and being glad and grateful for it, no matter what it is. The daily bread is what I'm talking about. And our daily bread will vary at times. Sometimes it's going to be a great, huge, ginormous loaf. Sometimes it may be a few crumbs, but it doesn't matter. It's the bread of life. It's the bread of the day. And if I take those crumbs or that big loaf, and if I bless it and know it is enough, and enough is always plenty to take care of my needs, and I'll have baskets left over from which to share, then I promise we will never, ever not have enough. So I want to thank you for your great and wondrous support, your loyalty, and your affection for our wonderful community. You're making the difference, my fellow members and dear friends. You're making the difference, even though you're not feeling it at times and certainly not understanding it maybe fully. But nevertheless, that's the truth. We're all making the difference by our endeavors, by sharing any good thing we have, whether it's thought or a feeling, whether it's a kind word, whatever, we make the difference. So thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. And now we're going to take our gift between our blessing hands, and we're going to say, divine love, that power, that majesty, that multiplying energy. Divine love consecrates my gift. It goes forth out from me to bless, to heal, to nurture, to nourish all those who give and all those who receive. And I am so happy to do this that I can rejoice in the sharing of my good as I, with gladness and thanksgiving, release my gift in that love. And so it is. So until we meet again, and please do meet again with us all in the various and sundry ways that are available, and stay in connection with us in all the ways that are available. And for the Halloween celebration we're having, it's a Halloween celebration of your children's costumes and so on. So be sure and send in those pictures. And if you want to send a picture of yourself in costume, that's fine too. And then we'll have a prize too for best costume. So my dear ones, you're very greatly loved. You're held close to our heart here, and you are prayed up all of the time. We love you, we appreciate you, we thank you, we bless you, and we love it when you're in touch with us, whether you send in your thoughts in writing, whether you text us or email us, or whether, and most especially when you join us in all the various opportunities that Zoom provides us with. So take care of yourselves, and that's the best way that we can take care of each other. And know that you definitely are, regardless of what you're feeling today, and some of us may not be feeling so hotsy-totsy, that's for sure. But nevertheless, you are a point of great power, great light, through which the infinite, in all of its glory and power and magnificence, shines through if you let it. You have to open that door and let that beauty and grace out I'm knowing we're all endeavoring greatly to do that, and especially now. So until we meet again, I leave you the goodbye greeting of my grand niece and nephew, Ryan and Isla. Mwah, mwah, mwah.